praise band for leading us in worship. Full of vision. Miss Carrie and Gaines. Thank you guys for doing that. Today is less about these specific trips that we're going to talk about and more about missions in general. And so Max and I are actually going to have some people up here just kind of sharing with us about their experiences on some of our mission trips. And really the challenge is for you guys to start considering what would it be like if I actually went on the mission trip. What would it be like? How could that affect my life? How could that affect my relationship with Christ? So in a moment, we're just going to have some different groups come up and kind of share about their experiences with it. Before we do that, I'm going to share a little bit about my own, and then Max is going to share a little bit about his. I have found that the greatest time of application and in times where God has spoken in my life has been when I have gone away on a mission trip. Now, it's not necessarily because God's working more there. It's more so because I have taken myself out of the distractions that I always have in front of my life. And when I'm outside of those situations and I can start focusing on and seeing where God is working, it's then that my faith has really taken some time to turn for reality. And what I mean by that is God has never been more real in my life than when I have gone away and done that. Now, the hard part is, how does that last, right? Because I can't always live on, somewhere else on mission. Like, I've been called here, God has called me here to do what I do here. And so the challenge for me has always been, how can I take the experience and how God's worked in my life and transfer it to what God's doing here all the time? And it's been incredible to see. I'll just name a couple that I've been on. I went to New York my senior year. God used that trip to alter the course of my life. Before that moment, before that trip, I was going into business marketing. That's why I didn't feel called to it. It just felt like, hey, I enjoy it. I like business. I like marketing. I like doing some of those things. And so I just felt like that was a natural fit for the way I'm wired in my personality. And God used that trip to reveal some things to me about the way He's wired me and some of the passions that I have. Right? That was huge. I went to Mexico, and we built houses in Mexico. Went to school, we built houses in Mexico, and God started working in my life specifically with how I manage and live out my life. What my concerns are. Right? He showed me things in Mexico that I wasn't aware of. And I saw joy, and I saw peace in people's lives, in their faces, in the way they talk, that I did not have. And I had a situation, I had a life that was, in my opinion, 100 times better than what they had. And yet I still did not have the joy and the peace in life that they had. And I feel like, just God started clicking with me like, there's something wrong with the way you see life right now. And so God has used some of those things in my life to do that. And so if I had not gone on those, could God have revealed it? Yes. But would I pay attention to it? I guess that's the question. And probably not, because it took me getting outside of my circumstances for me to be able to recognize what God was doing in my life. And so I want to encourage you guys today. Listen to some of the stories that you're going to hear, and maybe just be open to God challenging you to step outside of yourself for just a week of your life, for maybe a couple of days, and see what God can do in just a few days in your life. So I'm going to have Max, would you share with us a little bit just about what's on your heart as far as missions go and why we do it, right?
Yeah, definitely. Just kind of like what Mr. Smith has been talking about, even in my past 2 years that I've been really getting into missions here at the school with ESM trips and the Bahamas that we remember last year. I feel like God's heart is all about missions, and when you're in the missions field, when you're in a mission trip devoted, taking a week away and just devoting yourself to missions and to serving others, and there's just so many opportunities come up to grow and to learn and to kind of realize where God's heart is. Jesus, when he was here, he spent the 3 years of his ministry entirely devoted to serving people, to serving the sick, healing them, taking care of the broken. He could have, he could have done things differently. He could have gone to different people and had better opportunities to teach more people than he did. But he chose to devote himself to serving people. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it, because what's the only thing, because I guess missions is the only thing that we aren't going to be able to do in heaven. Like, it's the only thing that we only have one chance at here. We only have one chance at serving people, at evangelizing to the lost, at feeding the sick, at feeding the hungry, but this is our only chance. This is all we got. And it's our purpose. It's why the church is here, to serve people, to minister to them, to show God's love. And it just, God's heart is all about that. And so, yeah, I definitely encourage you to listen and to listen to the experiences that these people have had. I know a lot of them personally, and I was with them on some of these occasions, and I just know how much the Lord works and how much He moves on these mission trips. So right now we're going to move into kind of that interview time, but first we're going to watch a video on Nicaragua. So yeah.
And while that's going, Marvin Courtney, would you just go ahead and make your way, take a seat on the panel? So that's Nicaragua. Kaylee Martin actually put that together for us, and she's not here today, but that's awesome. Would you guys just share with us what's the Nicaragua trip about? What do you guys do on it, and what are some of the main experiences that you guys have on the trip?
Okay, there we go. Some of the things that we do on the Nicaragua trip are like we go to the dump and we just learn about what is going on there. We went to an orphanage where we helped children, we did ice cream, and we just got to share our homes with them, just be with them. We helped clean up an orphanage. I know me and Max and Christian, we were cleaning up horses to just help them get their jobs done. We did a whole bunch of things like that.
One of the other things we did, or one of the places we went to was Chagrin Sente, and we visited the city dump to see what it was like, because Chagrin Sente was all about getting those families out of the city dump and into a place where they could make their own food, learn to survive on their own. We spent a couple days there and got to work with the children. There's a school there, and also got to see all the houses and the families who live there.
Courtney, tell us a little bit more about the conditions of the dump. I know where we saw the people working and like, what were the conditions like there?
Well, as we were riding in the bus, as we got close to the dump, you could smell the stench coming from the garbage. We all had bandanas that you would keep over your nose and mouth to protect you from the dust and the smoke and just the horrible smell. And yet there were all these houses there. Children running around barefoot, playing in the garbage, when we thought, like, to us, it was kind of disgusting. It was just, like, amazing to think that's where they live. That's the only place they've ever been. And then the workers there were trying to clean up, but you would see all these, like, garbage trucks just coming in and dumping, like, huge loads of garbage, and the kids would, like, jump on top of them trying to get, like, as much garbage as they could collect for money.
Well, I'm actually going to have, we had a student go on the trip this past year with them that I asked specifically just to go and kind of take pictures and record some videos. And so when we got back, this one video in particular, just like, man, it makes you want to, it just makes you want to cry. I love it. And so, Sam, would you mind just showing that a little bit? It's with Christian Salazar there. I'd love to be able to see that. Where is that at in particular, and what was that kind of like seeing and experiencing some of those kinds of things?
That was at the Mustard Seed Orphanage, right? Yeah, that was at the Mustard Seed Orphanage. orphanage with all the different kids with all the different disabilities. There were kids with, it seemed like polio because they couldn't walk right, and they all had some mental disabilities, and I wouldn't say they were all together there like we were. They didn't think like we did.
What impact has that trip had on you guys' lives? You know, just the way you live, or maybe just your spiritual life. Like, what impact has that this trip had?
I'd say the thing that it did for me the most was, well, when we were down there, we saw so much devastation and destruction. I mean, everywhere we went, that's all you saw. And so the whole trip, like, the biggest struggle for me was wondering, like, why did God put me in America? Like, why do I have, like, all the privileges? And why are all those kids, like, stuck in such horrible situations? And so I guess I've just had to learn to rely on God and know that there is an ultimate plan. Like, He has a reason that those kids were put in there, and a reason I was able to go down there and help them as much as possible. And so we just have to look for God, because, like, I still don't know why, like, I was not in that situation, but I just have to trust in Him that He knows, like, He has the ultimate plan.
I'd say that the trip impacted me in the sense that every day I walk through the hall, or every day I'm just alive. I just think about Nicaragua. I think about those children there. Every time I look at my brothers, I think about the children there that were playing in the dirt, eating food that was covered in dirt. The kids that were disabled. It's just a different side.
I'll have one of you guys share this with this next question. What would you say, and either one of you take it, what would you do to encourage somebody who is, you know, maybe on the fence about whether they want to go on a mission trip or not?
I would definitely say that if you're on the fence, to definitely go, because it completely changed my life. Like Marvin said, you don't go one day without thinking about Nicaragua and thinking about all those children you saw. And I know that the trip can be very costly, but I just encourage you to try everything you can do to raise the money, because it was such an amazing experience for me, and I know that if you look out working hard, it could be awesome for you.
Thanks, guys. We're going to have Levi Williams and Alex Cook and Spencer Thomas coming up here. And Sam, would you go ahead and drop that Bahamas video?